Illegal medical practice. Meanwhile, in the conference room, a heated argument was raging. Old Man Qin firmly insisted that Du Zhong be given a chance to try, while a large portion of the hospital leadership opposed the idea. Their objections all revolved around the hospital's reputation, arguing that they couldn't take such a risk by allowing a security guard to perform medical treatment. Even if they were to permit it, it shouldn't be done within the hospital premises, and Du Zhong should be dismissed if he attempted it outside. After all, as the head of hospital security, any mishap would reflect poorly on the hospital. These 2 points infuriated Old Man Qin. Amid the dispute, the phone of a hospital leader named Wu suddenly rang. After answering the call, Wu, who had remained silent until then, spoke up in support of Old Man Qin's proposal, expressing trust in the authority of Old Man Qin not to make a wrong choice. With the support of a key leader, the decision was finally made. Du Zhong was allowed to proceed. As the leaders left the conference room, Wu sighed softly and muttered under his breath, "Haihua, this time I've staked the hospital's reputation on you." Half an hour later, Du Zhong received the final verdict. The hospital permitted him to proceed, but on the condition that they would bear no responsibility for any unforeseen incidents during the treatment. The child's parents were also consulted and signed the necessary documents. With all the leaders gathered in the ward, Du Zhong began his treatment. Epilepsy is a chronic, recurrent syndrome characterized by brief episodes of brain dysfunction, primarily caused by abnormal neuronal discharges in the brain, making it one of the common disorders of the nervous system. In other words, treating epilepsy requires addressing the brain's neural activity. Among the energy hand seals of ancient medicine, there was one specifically designed for the nerves. To treat the child, Du Zhong had to use that particular energy hand seal. Despite the many onlookers, Du Zhong was unafraid of being observed, as the hand seal he intended to use resembled acupressure, making it indistinguishable to the untrained eye. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Du Zhong approached the hospital bed, took a deep breath, narrowed his eyes with a glint of determination, and swiftly moved his hands. His right palm lay flat, thumb erect, middle finger slightly pressed forward, gently touching the child's right temple. Then, his left thumb bent, index finger pressed down, ring finger arched backward, and pinky hooked around the thumb, pressing the middle finger toward the palm, similarly touching the child's left temple. This hand seal was designed to clear the mind and had a potent cleansing effect on the brain's nerves, capable of neutralizing abnormal brainwave discharges and restoring normal function. Its greatest strength lay in stimulating the brain's nerves to enhance mental activity. While it couldn't turn a fool into a genius, it could at least make an ordinary person slightly smarter, though only marginally as recorded in the ancient medical texts. With both hands positioned on the child's temples, Du Zhong immediately felt the surrounding airflow like a cool breeze, sweeping into his body and surging through his arms like a galloping herd into the child's brain. Despite the refreshing sensation, sweat beaded on Du Zhong's forehead. He inwardly sighed. This extraordinary hand seal demanded more mental energy than others. Fortunately, he had rested well recently, or he might have collapsed from exhaustion midway. In the room, the onlookers watched Du Zhong with skepticism. After placing his fingers on the child's temples, he remained motionless, causing even those who had initially trusted him to doubt. Whispers spread through the room. Is this all it takes to cure the child? It seems the security guard is just a quack, as that doctor said. But why is he sweating so much in such a simple posture? Look, his clothes are soaked. Yeah, he's so robust and it's quite cool in here. Old Man Qin sternly silenced the murmurs. Quiet. You'll disrupt the treatment. He turned back to Du Zhong, his eyes gleaming with a mix of excitement and anticipation. Just as silence fell, loud footsteps echoed from outside the door. Police, make way. A young officer in uniform entered. The hospital director and Old Man Qin hurried to intercept him at the door. What's the matter? The director asked. We've received a report of illegal medical practice and attempted murder here. Do not obstruct justice, the officer declared firmly. The director glanced at Old Man Qin and then at Du Zhong, who remained motionless and drenched in sweat. Please do not obstruct justice, the officer repeated. Reluctantly, the director and Old Man Qin stepped aside, allowing the police to enter. 3 officers approached Du Zhong. You are Du Zhong, the head of hospital security, correct? One asked, standing beside him without interrupting his actions. Yes, that's me, Du Zhong replied, not moving. You've been reported for illegal medical practice. Come with us, the officer stated sternly. I will, Du Zhong nodded calmly. But I'm in the middle of treating this child. May I finish? Afterward, I'll go with you. This is a life at stake. I hope you, as officers, will consider carefully. Moreover, I have the parents' consent. The officer hesitated. Don't worry, you can watch me here. I won't run, Du Zhong added with a faint smile. And if I fail, you'll witness it firsthand. That's right, please show some leniency, Old Man Chin interjected. He's a good man. He won't flee, Gumyur added, stepping forward with tissues to wipe the sweat from Du Zhong's brow. After a moment's thought, the three officers agreed. Their duty was to serve the people, and if forcibly removing Du Zhong harmed the child, they would be accountable. Moreover, in such a situation, it was unclear whether they would be hindering treatment or if Du Zhong was simply ineffective. If Du Zhong later blamed them, they'd have no defense. Hidden in the crowd, Wu Haihua scowled at the sight of Gumyur tending to Du Zhong but smirked at the thought of Du Zhong being arrested after the treatment. After what felt like an eternity, Du Zhong's eyes widened suddenly. His hands trembled as he slowly withdrew them. Success. With a weak smile, he turned around, utterly exhausted. Let's go, he said, extending his hands to the waiting officers and stepping away. He's done? But the child shows no reaction. Was he just bluffing? Did he give up because the police were here? The room and hallway erupted into chatter. Amid the noise, the 3-year-old boy on the bed trembled slightly. Just as everyone feared another seizure, the child opened his eyes, sat up, and, seeing his parents, happily got out of bed, lively and playful. Everyone was stunned. The child, who had been in a deep epileptic sleep, was awake. His complexion looked better, and he seemed full of energy, unlike a sick child. How could he possibly die within 24 hours? He had done it. He had truly succeeded. When the crowd turned back, the pale, weakened security captain had already been taken away by a police car, its siren wailing in the distance. As soon as he got into the police car, Du Zhong closed his eyes and rested, exhausted. Meanwhile, after resolving the child's condition, the hospital leaders happily discussed the case with the parents and faced media interviews, seemingly forgetting that the credit belonged entirely to Du Zhong. Only Old Man Chin and Gumyur frowned with worry for Du Zhong. Old Man Chin, what can we do? Gumyur asked. There's no way, he sighed. Du Zhong has no medical license and treated the child in front of the police. Even if I begged the director to grant him an exception, it wouldn't change the fact that it was illegal practice. Does the hospital really have no solution? Gumyur felt a surge of resentment. Du Zhong had acted to protect the hospital's reputation, and now that the child was saved, the hospital ignored his plight. If Du Zhong were convicted of illegal medical practice, he could face at least 3 years in prison. Old Man Chin frowned and shook his head. Let me think of something. Gumyur turned to the leaders, smiling for the media, and her face flushed with anger. Fine. If the hospital won't save him, I will. She stamped her foot, turned, and strode out of the hospital building to make a phone call. The police car soon arrived at the station. A few minutes of rest had slightly revived Du Zhong, easing his earlier fatigue. The confrontation at the police station unfolded as Du Zhong was escorted into the building by 3 officers. Just a few steps inside, a slightly overweight man in a police uniform suddenly appeared, causing Du Zhong to freeze in surprise. Xiao Chong. Ha! The uniformed man hesitated for a moment before turning toward Du Zhong. His face suddenly lit up with excitement. Squad leader. Du Zhong smiled faintly. Xiao Chong, originally named Mao Chong, was a soldier Du Zhong had trained during his time in the military. After Du Zhong was transferred to the special forces, they had lost contact. What are you all doing? Let him go now. Mao Chong stepped forward, scolding the 3 officers escorting Du Zhong and ordering them to release him. Captain, this man was caught practicing medicine illegally. The young officer in the lead explained awkwardly. Don't give me that useless talk, Mao Chong snapped. You only know I'm your captain, but you have no idea he's my squad leader. Now, get out of here. The 3 officers exchanged glances, looking as aggrieved as wronged daughters-in-law, and reluctantly left with long faces. Mao Chong, still visibly excited, pulled Du Zhong into his office. Captain of the police squad. You've done well for yourself, Du Zhong remarked, glancing at Mao Chong's shoulder insignia as they entered the office. Not at all. Whatever I've achieved today, it's all thanks to your guidance, squad leader. Mao Chong chuckled warmly, hurrying to pour Du Zhong a cup of tea and bringing it over. I still remember clearly how you trained us back in the day. Recalling the past, a knowing smile spread across Mao Chong's slightly chubby face. He added, after you were transferred, I served for 3 more years but never saw you return. Once my service ended, I chose to retire. Eventually, the military assigned me to this police station as the squad captain. Du Zhong nodded. Without much formal education, opportunities for advancement in the military were limited. It was rare for someone to be assigned as a police squad captain after retiring. Mao Chong had been quite lucky. What about you, squad leader? How have you been these years? Mao Chong asked curiously after sharing his own story. I just retired, Du Zhong replied with a smile. Now I'm working as the head of security at the affiliated hospital. As for my time in the military, it's better not to ask. I understand. Confidentiality protocols. Mao Chong laughed heartily, then sighed regretfully. But, squad leader, working as a security captain is such a waste of your talents. Before his words faded, the office door burst open, and a burly young man in a police uniform rushed in anxiously. His eyes immediately locked onto Du Zhong. Captain, I heard your squad leader was brought in. Is this the legendary expert you're always bragging about? The sturdy young man asked, sizing up Du Zhong with an eager expression. Bear, watch your tone. He is my squad leader. Mao Chong glared sharply at the young man. Bear? Du Zhong's lips curled into a faint smile. The nickname seemed fitting given the young man's build and stature. Don't mind him, squad leader, Mao Chong said, turning back to Du Zhong after scolding Bear. This guy's just a hothead. He's learned a bit of internal martial arts, Bagua Pom, and tends to be impulsive. Still, his skills make him one of the best in the squad. Internal martial arts? Bagua Pom? Du Zhong's interest was piqued, reminded of the elderly man he had encountered in the park. He hadn't been able to gauge that old man's strength, nor could he discern the differences between internal martial arts and his own combat skills. But if this young man also practiced internal martial arts, perhaps he could uncover some insights. With that thought, Du Zhong chuckled softly and looked at Bear. Want to spar? Nothing would make me happier. Bear's eyes gleamed with confidence. I've been wanting to test you for a long time. The captain's always talking about how incredible you are. Now that I've met you in person, how could I pass up a fight? I'm curious to see what kind of experts the military really produces. Seeing both men eager, Mao Chong hesitated slightly. Is this really appropriate? It's fine, just a simple chitsoa, Du Zhong reassured. Hearing this, Bear grinned widely, as if already envisioning the fight. All right then. Mao Chong's expression shifted, a sly smile spreading across his face. Since the squad leader is willing, I might as well enjoy the show. But since we're doing this, squad leader, you've got to teach this kid a lesson for me. These guys have been getting too arrogant lately, always causing trouble. Du Zhong stood up and nodded with a smile. Though he had expended significant mental energy earlier while saving the child, he had recovered somewhat on the way to the station. Dealing with this officer shouldn't be a problem. Soon, under Mao Chong's lead, Du Zhong and Bear arrived at the police station's training ground. Word had spread that the expert Mao Chong always praised was going to spar with Bear, stirring excitement throughout the squad and drawing a crowd of onlookers. The training ground buzzed with noise. Let's begin, Du Zhong said calmly, standing straight as Bear opposite him rubbed his hands eagerly. Here I come. Bear roared, his fighting spirit erupting. His sturdy frame moved with the agility of a forest monkey as he launched his attack. Bagua Pom is a martial art focused on palm techniques and agile footwork, characterized by intricate movements across 8 directions, reminiscent of the 8 trigrams in the I Ching. True to his impulsive nature, Bear went all out from the start, aiming a powerful palm strike directly at Du Zhong's chest. The force behind it was enough to break a rib in an ordinary person. This kid's got some nerve today, Mao Chong muttered under his breath. To attack his squad leader with such ferocity right off the bat, Bear really had some gall. If this were a fight with some street thug, Mao Chong would have stopped and scolded him. But his opponent was Du Zhong. As Bear charged forward, Du Zhong shifted his feet slightly, evading the attack with ease. Seeing his strike miss and Du Zhong not countering, Bear smirked inwardly, assuming he had forced Du Zhong into a defensive position. So this was the military's expert? Not so impressive after all. Emboldened, Bear changed his stance, his arm whirling through the air as he aimed a palm strike at Du Zhong's face. Du Zhong, however, kept his eyes not on Bear's hands but on his overall posture. Just as the strike was about to land, Du Zhong tilted his head slightly, dodging it narrowly once again. With 2 consecutive attacks evaded by a hair's breadth, Bear's expression darkened. He launched a dual palm assault from both sides, a move that seemed chaotic but effectively blocked Du Zhong's escape routes. Let's see you dodge this, Bear thought triumphantly. Yet, before his smile could fully form, Du Zhong took 2 simple steps back, effortlessly moving out of Bear's range. In those 3 brief exchanges, Du Zhong realized that although Bear practiced internal martial arts, he was nowhere near the level of the old man he had met. Bear's form was riddled with openings, any one of which Du Zhong could exploit to incapacitate him instantly. That was why Du Zhong had held back. Bear's skills were, frankly, disappointing. There was no point in continuing. Frustrated that his confident attacks kept missing, and that Du Zhong hadn't even struck back, Bear halted, his face flushed with anger. Why won't you fight back? Do you look down on me? He demanded, his pride wounded by his inability to even graze Du Zhong. No. Du Zhong shook his head, sighing softly with genuine sincerity. Your current skill level isn't enough. If I attacked, you'd be down in an instant. Humph. Bear sneered. Stop boasting. Everyone can see you've been too busy dodging to even throw a punch. How can you talk big? Is that so? Du Zhong smiled faintly, not arguing further. He disliked verbal confrontations, preferring to let actions and abilities speak for themselves. No sooner had he spoken than Du Zhong surged forward, his hand forming into a blade as he struck with lightning speed. In the blink of an eye, his hand was poised at Bear's throat, stopping just as it made contact. The move left the onlookers stunned, their jaws dropping in disbelief. None had even seen Du Zhong move. One moment he was standing still, the next his hand was at Bear's neck. Was such speed humanly possible? The captain wasn't exaggerating. His squad leader is incredible. Yeah, I didn't even see what happened, and Bear was already subdued. Truly an expert from the military. What an eye-opener. Amid the excited chatter, Bear stood frozen in shock. He hadn't even registered Du Zhong's movement before the hand was at his throat. It was too fast. Mao Chong grinned with satisfaction, laughing loudly. Now these youngsters know what it means. There's always someone better. I'm not convinced. Bear suddenly shouted. You only dodged when I attacked, then caught me off guard with a sneak attack. What kind of crap is that? Oh, then continue, Du Zhong replied calmly, withdrawing his hand and stepping back. Seizing the moment, Bear's eyes flashed with determination. He lunged forward, launching a fierce assault with both palms striking like blades from above and below. Du Zhong's lips curled slightly as he pivoted, evading the attack like a ghost, before his hand blade flashed out once more, coming to rest again at Bear's throat. Again, Bear panted heavily, his eyes burning with frustration. How could he be subdued without even touching his opponent? He tried to swat Du Zhong's hand away, but Du Zhong gave him no opportunity. Again, Bear panted heavily, his eyes burning with frustration. How could he be subdued without even touching his opponent? He tried to swat Du Zhong's hand away, but Du Zhong gave him no opportunity. Again, Bear panted heavily, his eyes burning with frustration. How could he be subdued without even touching his opponent? He tried to swat Du Zhong's hand away, but Du Zhong gave him no opportunity. Again, Bear panted heavily, his eyes burning with frustration. How could he be subdued without even touching his opponent? He tried to swat Du Zhong's hand away, but Du Zhong gave him no opportunity. Less than half a minute. His arms moved like agile snakes, retracting and extending in a flash. Before the Bear could launch a second attack, the palm strike descended upon his neck once again. Ah! The Bear roared in fury. Facing Du Zhong at that moment, he felt a sense of powerlessness, as if his strength was useless. That feeling of helplessness enraged him deeply. Since he began practicing Bagwazang, he had never encountered such a situation. Ha! With a shout, the Bear charged forward like a wild bull, his arms flailing wildly and his feet moving without any technique, resembling an angry child rushing straight toward Du Zhong. Seeing this, Du Zhong couldn't help but chuckle. Immediately, he extended his palm, pushed off with his feet, and shot forward. Instead of evading, he charged toward the Bear as if intending a direct clash. The onlookers widened their eyes in disbelief. A direct clash? Could this average-built expert withstand the Bear's massive frame? The same question arose in everyone's minds. However, the scene that followed silenced the entire playground. Du Zhong swiftly advanced, and just as he was about to collide with the Bear, his arm suddenly swung out, forming a delicate gesture. A thumb and middle finger pressed together. With just these two fingers, he firmly gripped the back of the Bear's collar. The Bear, blinded by rage, seemed unaware. His feet continued to run frantically, but no matter how hard he tried, he remained rooted to the spot, unable to advance an inch. Ha ha! The Bear's foolish appearance drew laughter from the crowd. The laughter snapped the Bear out of his rage. Seeing his own predicament, his anger flared even hotter. He swung a fist toward Du Zhong's face, a massive punch fueled by fury, as if he wanted to shatter Du Zhong's skull with a single blow. Facing such a ferocious attack, Du Zhong sighed inwardly, tilted his head to dodge, and released the Bear's collar. His hand transformed into a blade, tracing a graceful arc before coming to rest once again on the Bear's neck. This time, Du Zhong deliberately added a bit more force, the palm blade cutting through the air with a faint whistling sound. The Bear's eyes widened in shock. Only when the palm blade stopped before his neck did he let out a relieved sigh and collapse to the ground. I can't beat you. I admit defeat. The Bear muttered helplessly, avoiding Du Zhong's gaze. Ha ha! At that moment, Mao Chong stepped forward, putting on a leader's airs and pointing at the watching police officers. See, this is what a true expert looks like. You all act tough all the time, but now you have nothing to say. The officers looked at Mao Chong, their faces tinged with embarrassment. Xiao Chong, Du Zhong called out with a smile. How about you join me for a spar? Mao Chong froze instantly, his face turning red with embarrassment. Captain, look at me. I've gained weight. I couldn't beat you back then, let alone now. You're so skilled now, how would I dare? Mao Chong's words elicited muffled laughter across the playground. Just then, the bear climbed to his feet. Captain's friend. I want to know how much of your strength you used against me. Was it 60%, 70, or 50? Though defeated, the bear shamelessly approached Du Zhong to ask. You'd better not ask. Even if I told you, it wouldn't do you any good. Du Zhong shook his head. His words stunned the bear, and the onlookers stopped laughing, turning their attention to Du Zhong. Everyone was curious. How much strength had Du Zhong used? No, you have to tell me. If you don't, I'll... The bear insisted, growing agitated. You'll what? Du Zhong found the bear's childlike temperament amusing. I won't let you leave the police station. I'll lock you up. After all, you're here because you broke the law. The bear's face lit up with a smug grin. Practicing medicine illegally. Don't think I don't know. Du Zhong was taken aback. This guy was threatening him with such a trivial matter? Truly a child's temper. Fine, you win. I'll tell you. Du Zhong relented with a wry smile. The bear's eyes sparkled as he leaned in. How much strength did you use? Less than 0.5%. Du Zhong sighed and shook his head. The words struck the bear like a thunderbolt. Impossible. How could it be? It can't be. The bear's face turned pale as he muttered in disbelief. He's already been released. Since the squad leader insists on leaving, I won't stop you, Mao Chong said with a face full of regret. However, since you were brought here by a police car, you must let the police car take you back. You can't refuse that. Du Zhong knew Mao Chong meant well. This way, no one would misunderstand the situation. All right, Du Zhong nodded in agreement. Squad leader, I'll start investigating the guy who framed you today and find him by tomorrow. But you must remember to come see me when you have time. I'll train with you then. As he sent someone to escort Du Zhong away, Mao Chong looked reluctant. Don't worry. Du Zhong laughed heartily. With this guy's out-of-shape body, he still wanted to train? Of course, Du Zhong understood that Mao Chong just wanted to see him more often. Shortly after Du Zhong left, a young police officer rushed out of the station. Captain, the municipal bureau chief is on the phone. Hearing this, Mao Chong hurried inside. Hello, this is Mao Chong, captain of the Kaifa District Police Station in Kaiyuan City. Mao Chong announced his name and rank as he picked up the phone. Did you just take in someone named Du Zhong? The voice on the other end asked. Mao Chong frowned, wondering how even the municipal bureau chief had heard about his squad leader's situation. Yes, he replied. No matter what he's done, release him immediately, the bureau chief commanded authoritatively. He's already been released, Mao Chong said, somewhat taken aback. Did he need the bureau chief's permission to release his own squad leader? Besides, after hearing Du Zhong's account, Mao Chong knew Du Zhong had been framed. From every angle, he had the right and the reason to let Du Zhong go. Released. The voice sounded surprised, then added, since he's released, that's fine. Make sure your people remember. Don't provoke that young man in the future. Mao Chong couldn't help but smirk inwardly. Would he dare? That guy could single-handedly take down the entire well-equipped municipal police force. How could he possibly provoke him? Not to mention, he was his squad leader. Though thinking this, Mao Chong repeatedly agreed over the phone. Meanwhile, Du Zhong noticed it was already past working hours, so he didn't return to the hospital. The police officer driving him, having witnessed Du Zhong's skills, looked at him with admiration. Though Du Zhong asked to be dropped off at the hospital entrance to walk home, the officer insisted on driving him all the way back. Eventually, escorted by the police car, Du Zhong comfortably returned to his apartment. After saying goodbye to the officer, Du Zhong entered his home. As soon as he stepped inside, he saw Gu Muir, her face full of anxiety, looking like a wronged wife waiting hopelessly. A pitiful sight. You're back. Are you okay? Seeing Du Zhong, Gu Muir breathed a sigh of relief and hurried over to ask. I'm fine. Du Zhong smiled slightly, sensing her urgency. For a moment, he even forgot that Gu Muir was just his roommate, not someone with a deeper relationship who could care for him and offer warmth at any time. At the police station, I ran into a rookie I trained during my military days. He's now a police captain. We chatted for a bit, and he let me go, Du Zhong explained as he changed his shoes. After explaining, Du Zhong was startled to realize he, who never liked explaining himself, had unconsciously done so for Gu Muir. Was he subconsciously afraid she'd worry? The thought struck him. On the other hand, hearing Du Zhong's explanation, Gu Muir secretly felt relieved. If he was released not because of her connections, that was good. She didn't want others knowing about her family background. You were in the military? Relaxing, Gumur asked in surprise. Du Zhong paused at her question. He'd never mentioned his military service to her. Smiling, he simply walked back to his room without another word. Humph! Gumur snorted indignantly. After all her worry, he couldn't even spare a few words? He's a grown man, yet so petty. Would it kill him to say a little more? Though she complained, her curiosity about Du Zhong grew deeper, especially regarding his medical skills, which never failed to astonish her. The next morning, while it was still dark, Du Zhong got up. Tomorrow was the day he'd agreed to meet the internal martial arts elder, but he didn't want to wait rigidly. Maybe he'd run into the elder today. After finishing his military boxing routine, 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 squats, and 1,000 frog jumps, the sky had brightened, but there was no sign of the elder. Disappointed, Du Zhong left. While jogging to the hospital, he received a call from Mao Chong. Hey, Xiao Chong. Du Zhong answered casually. Squad leader, we found out who framed you. Mao Chong's voice came through. It's an orthopedic doctor from the affiliated hospital named Wu Haihua. So it was him. Du Zhong's eyes narrowed coldly upon hearing the confirmation. Squad leader, if it's difficult for you to handle, leave it to me, Mao Chong offered. No need, Du Zhong refused. I'll take care of this myself. All right. If you run into any problems, remember to call me, Mao Chong agreed. After a brief chat, Du Zhong hung up. Wu Haihua. Du Zhong recalled the figure who'd been targeting him repeatedly, his heart cold. Arriving at the hospital, Du Zhong saw two people confronting each other outside the security office, as if something had happened. Approaching, he realized it was He Zi and Chen Shang, the timid boyfriend of Lin Xiaoya. Why are you stopping me? If a social reject like you can be a security guard, why can't I, an ordinary person, enter the hospital? Perhaps because He Zi was in uniform? Chen Shang showed no fear, seemingly convinced He Zi wouldn't dare touch him. Why? He Zi sneered, grabbing Chen Shang by the collar. Chen Shang, you don't deserve Xiaoya. Get lost now or I won't be polite. You're a security guard. Chen Shang panicked but stood his ground. Go ahead, hit me. If you do, the hospital will be responsible, and someone will deal with you. You think I won't? He Zi flared up. Seeing He Zi about to strike, Chen Shang turned around in fear, and spotted Du Zhong approaching, his eyes lighting up. You're the security captain. Instead of disciplining your subordinate, you're letting him block me and even try to hit me. Chen Shang shouted loudly directly at Du Zhong. Despite the noise, Du Zhong acted as if he heard nothing, walking straight past them into the security office as if seeing nothing. You stop! Chen Shang grew frantic. You're the hospital's security captain. There's a dispute and you're ignoring it? You don't deserve to be captain. If you don't resolve this and let me in, I'll report you and the entire security team. Chen Shang's shouts continued from behind. Du Zhong curled his lip coldly, still ignoring him. He Zi sneered, dragged Chen Shang like a broom by his collar to the hospital entrance, and threw him out. He then assigned a guard to ensure Chen Shang didn't set foot in the hospital again. Returning to the security office, He Zi approached Du Zhong. Captain, do you think he'll really report you and the team? Someone that disloyal and cowardly is totally capable of it. He Zi said. Let him report if he wants. Du Zhong smiled, unbothered by the threat. Right. He Zi spat angrily. If we weren't at the hospital, I'd beat that shameless punk senseless. Take off the uniform, step outside the gate, and you're not at the hospital anymore, Du Zhong said lightly. He Zi's eyes lit up, almost disbelieving. You mean? Teach him a lesson. Just scare him off. Don't hurt him. Make sure he doesn't cause trouble here again. Du Zhong waved a hand. Yes, sir. Don't worry, Captain. I know what to do. I'll make sure he remembers it forever. He Zi grinned slyly, agreed readily, took off his uniform and hurried out. After He Zi left, Du Zhong called Wang Hao to gather all guards for daily training. Du Zhong led the drills personally, though today's session was less strict than usual. Everyone's attention was fixed on the scene outside the hospital gate, where He Zi was slapping Chen Shang's buttocks harmlessly but relentlessly, driving him away in a comical retreat. After laughter subsided, He Zi rejoined the team, and rigorous training began in earnest. For He Zi, his first full training session was a grueling ordeal. By the time it ended, afternoon had arrived. On his way to the TCM department, Du Zhong's expression turned cold. Mao Chong's call had made it clear. Wu Haihua was behind the frame-up. Repeated provocations and this latest stunt had finally angered him. When an enemy appears, what does a soldier king do? Show no mercy. Entering the consultation room, Du Zhong strode directly to Wu Haihua, who was seated at his desk, grabbed him by the collar, and yanked him up from his chair. If you want a contest, I'll give you one. Suddenly being lifted, Wu Haihua's face instantly filled with panic. Du Zhong, what are you doing? Do you want to settle this outside or here? Du Zhong's voice was icy cold, his eyes radiating a chilling glare. Held by the collar by Du Zhong, Wu Haihua, already shorter than him, had to stand on tiptoe, his eyes wide with fear. How had Du Zhong gotten out of the police station so quickly? In a case like this, he should have been detained for at least 15 days. Amid his panic, Wu Haihua glanced at Elder Qin out of the corner of his eye. Seeing Elder Qin frown slightly as he looked their way, his thoughts shifted. Though he didn't know how Du Zhong had managed to get out, the current situation clearly worked in his favor. Du Zhong had acted without a word, and Elder Qin had seen it all. This was undoubtedly the perfect opportunity to strike at Du Zhong in front of Elder Qin and completely destroy any goodwill the elder had for him. With this in mind, Wu Haihua's expression hardened, and he immediately put on a bold front. Du Zhong, what do you think you're doing? Are you trying to pick a fight with me? I know you're tough, but I haven't provoked you. What's this about? Are you venting your anger? Lashing out at others recklessly, and doing it in front of Elder Qin. What respect does that show him? Wu Haihua deliberately emphasized his words, redirecting the conflict toward Elder Qin. Elder Qin frowned deeply as he watched the scene unfold, his eyes questioning Du Zhong, demanding an explanation for his behavior. Still playing dumb? Du Zhong snorted coldly, tightening his grip as he pressed. Don't want to talk? Is that it? For someone as treacherous as Wu Haihua, Du Zhong had no intention of sparing any face. Moreover, Wu Haihua was still trying to shift the blame onto him, which made it even more intolerable. What is there for me not to say? What exactly do you want me to say? Wu Haihua stiffened slightly, the anger on his face not yet faded as he feigned confusion. Tell me, how did the police show up yesterday? Who made the call to report me? Answer me. Du Zhong narrowed his eyes, his tone freezing as he interrogated. At these words, Wu Haihua's face turned pale. He never expected that Du Zhong had not only gotten out of the police station so quickly but also knew about his scheme to report him. Was it you who called the police? Elder Qin immediately stood up, his eyes fixed intently on Wu Haihua. No, it wasn't. Hearing Elder Qin's question, Wu Haihua hurriedly denied, pointing tragically at Du Zhong. Elder Qin, don't believe Du Zhong's lies. He's trying to frame me. Frame you? Du Zhong let out a cold laugh. I, Du Zhong, have always walked with integrity and have never stooped to such despicable acts. With that, he took out his phone, dialed a number, and put it on speaker. Tell me your identity, Du Zhong commanded. Mao Chong, captain of the 1st Unit of the Kaiyuan City Public Security Bureau. Came the serious reply from the other end of the line. Wu Haihua was stunned. Tell me, who called to frame me yesterday? What was the number used to report me? Du Zhong stared fixedly at Wu Haihua as he continued questioning. The number is 13. Registered under the surname Wu. As soon as Mao Chong's voice finished speaking, Du Zhong hung up. What's your phone number? Du Zhong asked coldly. At this, Wu Haihua broke out in a cold sweat, turning his head away, unable to meet Du Zhong's gaze, stammering and unable to form a coherent sentence. On one side, Wu Haihua was panicked and flustered, wanting to defend himself but finding no excuse. He never imagined that Du Zhong had such influence, able to command a police captain directly. On the other side, Elder Qin took out his phone and dialed the number Mao Chong had just provided. Wu Haihua's name immediately appeared on the screen. Elder Qin's face turned ashen. It really was you. Elder Qin glared furiously at Wu Haihua. He never expected Wu Haihua to stoop to such despicable actions. If not for Du Zhong's ability to get out of the police station, his entire future could have been ruined over this. Such behavior was as heinous as murder and utterly unforgivable. Get out of here. You are not welcome here. From today onward, you are expelled from the traditional Chinese medicine department. You are forbidden to set foot here again. Wu Haihua felt as if struck by lightning, his face instantly turning deathly pale. He never imagined things would end like this. Teacher, I'm your nominal disciple. Please don't drive me away, please. Wu Haihua broke free from Du Zhong's grip, frantically begging. Humph! Elder Qin snorted coldly, his voice filled with deep disappointment. A healer must have the heart of a parent, and parents must be selfless. What I need here are people of integrity and resilience, not those consumed by jealousy, pettiness, and deceit. I never thought you were such a person. I misjudged you. You are unworthy of being here. Get out. Du Zhong had never seen Elder Qin so angry. From their first meeting, he had sensed that Elder Qin was a gentle and kind-hearted old man. For him to lose his temper like this showed just how deeply disappointed he was in Wu Haihua. No, please. Give me another chance. I'll never do it again. Wu Haihua fell to his knees with a thud, weeping and begging Elder Qin. Humph! Elder Qin turned his face away, his resolve firm. After pleading for a long time with no response, Wu Haihua suddenly sprang to his feet. His face twisted with venom as he pointed at Elder Qin and shouted, "You're happy things turned out this way, aren't you, you old fool? You old fool! You've wanted to get rid of me for a long time, haven't you? I'm in the way of you taking on your precious disciple, aren't I?" The more Wu Haihua spoke, the more intense the hatred on his face became. Watching Wu Haihua's hysterical outburst, Elder Qin's expression grew increasingly grim and cold. "Is it because you wanted to kick me out that you brought in some nobody to push me aside? Isn't that right?" Wu Haihua shot a venomous glance at Du Zhong, his words sharp and accusing. "I've followed you for 3 years, 3 whole years. You never taught me anything. Are you even fit to be a teacher? Now you've brought in some TCM idiot to push me out. If you wanted me gone, you should have just said so. Why all the scheming? Throw him out." Unable to bear it any longer, the enraged Elder Qin suddenly roared. Du Zhong strode over to Wu Haihua, but before he could lay a hand on him, Wu Haihua dodged away. Du Zhong wasn't about to give him that chance. In a flash, he grabbed Wu Haihua by the back of his collar and began dragging him out. "I refuse to accept this." Wu Haihua struggled wildly, shouting at Elder Qin with extreme resentment. "What does he have that I don't? I'm a PhD in traditional Chinese medicine, and he's just a lowly security guard. Why are you so biased? I refuse to accept this." Elder Qin signaled Du Zhong to pause, then said coldly, "Then I'll make you accept it. Let me tell you, in TCM, virtue comes first. Everything else is secondary to me." "Virtue?" Wu Haihua sneered. "What use is virtue? As a doctor, the ability to heal is what matters. What skills could a mere security guard possibly have? I refuse to accept this. I challenge you to a contest. I'll prove that I, Wu Haihua, am 1,000 times, no, 10,000 times, better than you, Du Zhong." Wu Haihua turned his head, his face dark and menacing as he glared at Du Zhong. "I'll make everyone see that you're not even fit to compare with me. In front of me, Wu Haihua, you, Du Zhong, are nothing, not even worth a fart. Do you dare to compete with me? Do you dare? If you don't, you're not a man." Hearing this, Elder Qin sighed helplessly, his face filled with profound disappointment. Du Zhong clearly had no background in TCM, not even the basics. Yet Wu Haihua, as a TCM PhD, was still bullying the weak at a time like this, revealing his true character. This extinguished the last bit of hope Elder Qin had held for him. The word man ignited a fierce killing intent in Du Zhong's eyes. Family was his soft spot, and no one was allowed to harm them, not even with words. Wu Haihua had crossed a line he should never have approached. If he couldn't kill, he would break his spirit. He would shatter every ounce of confidence that supported him. Breaking someone's spirit was crueler than killing them. "Looking to die? I'll oblige you," Du Zhong said coldly. "What are we competing in?" Wu Haihua gritted his teeth, his voice sinister. "I'll compete with you in bone setting, reciting medical texts, diagnosing illnesses. Shameless. You have no right to call yourself a doctor. Get out." Before Du Zhong could respond, Elder Qin was already enraged, pointing at Wu Haihua and cursing. Bone setting was Wu Haihua's specialty. He had been reciting medical texts since childhood, and he had been diagnosing patients independently since he was 15. How could Du Zhong possibly compete with him in these areas? Using one's strengths to exploit another's weaknesses was despicable to anyone with integrity. But Wu Haihua ignored Elder Qin's anger, instead smirking provocatively at Du Zhong. Since things had already reached this point, he had to salvage his pride. As long as he could crush Du Zhong underfoot, he could still thrive in the hospital. So what if he offended the old man? What could he do about it? "If you're a real man, accept the challenge. If you admit you're not, I'll be magnanimous and let you off the hook." Wu Haihua sneered as he looked at Du Zhong. "A man?" Du Zhong let out a cold laugh, grabbed a wooden chair, and squeezed hard. The armrest of the chair instantly cracked. Seeing this, Wu Haihua's eyes filled with panic. Thinking Du Zhong was refusing the challenge and resorting to violence, he quickly stepped back. Pointing at Du Zhong from a distance, he said nervously, "What do you think you're doing? This is a hospital. You're a security guard here. If you lay a hand on me, it's a crime. I just wanted you to know that a man is someone who stands tall, upright, and honorable." Du Zhong cast a disdainful glance at Wu Haihua. Not a scheming, deceitful coward who hides in the shadows, and certainly not a timid weakling. With that, Du Zhong released his grip and threw the chair to the ground. "If you want a contest, I'll give you one. The first match." Du Zhong. Old Man Qin frowned deeply. "Don't worry, Old Man Qin.